Wagwan, me people, quick thing before we kick off. The views where you hear upon the Father to Father podcast, them strictly for why, the hosts, guests, and contributors. Them now represent Catholic Notebook, Spirit Stream Studios, the Diocese, University, or any affiliated groups. You see me? And remember, this podcast is strictly for adult ears, so listen up with discretion.
Wisdom they share, projects and the purpose everywhere. So tune in, relax and let your spirit find guidance from the heart and peace of mind. Welcome to Father, where life and
Welcome back to the Father podcast. I'm Dr. Giovanni, and with me is my right hand, my main man,
Father Greg Lambert.
Hey, what's good, man? You feeling good?
Absolutely.
You happy?
Yeah.
You know what? It's times like this that I'm just reminded.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what could I be? Could I be bishop? Could I be pope? Here's what she said to me.
No. Why? Can I ask why? Is that Papa Francisco saying no?
Yeah, it's Papa Francisco.
That sounded really familiar.
That's Papa Francisco. Papa Francisco's like, no. Hey, man, we gotta start this show off on something fun, right?
I guess that sounds like an angry letter at some point. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, it's all factual. Hey, it's all about facts on the show, right? Hey. So welcome to the show, everybody. You ready to hop into the game?
Absolutely.
In shadows deep, where truth is veiled, through whisper soft, the quest unknown. We seek the path, we yearn to see. Is it a myth or reality? Myth or reality, we need to know. Is it myth or reality? Voices rise, hearts alight, truth will show. Is it myth or reality?
All right, Myth or Reality, Priest Edition. All right, you know the drill. I'll give you a statement. You tell me, and the lovely listeners at home, whether or not it is a myth or reality.
Yeah.
Priests can't drink alcohol. Myth or reality?
Myth. I don't think I've seen a rectory once, a priest house without a full bar. And if they don't have a full bar, they have a bunch of gifts from people who give them out bottles of alcohol. And if they don't drink, that just kind of sits there.
You know what? I think this is the first time I actually deeped that.
Told you.
That's the first time I deeped that.
Think about it.
Because there was a parish that we went to on an apostolic site. They didn't have a full bar originally, but as soon as the pastor got there, one of the very first things they did was a renovation thing. Mm-hmm. They opened up the concept to the living room, and they installed the full bar.
Yep. Now, this is not to say that all priests drink to the point where they need a full bar. But one of the popular things that get given to priests, because there is a popular understanding and tradition of priests that do enjoy a drink or two, or even a little nightcap, people tend to give them bottles of alcohol. I got a whole bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Because someone knows that I am a whiskey fan.
Yeah.
But I don't drink alone.
Also, if listeners to, if any whiskey company wants to sponsor the Father podcast, hey, Hennessy. Listen, we pulled out an old bottle of Hennessy. It was a 1920s bottles, 3-star Hennessy.
It was nice.
Hey, listen, if anybody wants to sponsor us, let us know. Hit us up. Anyways, so priest drink.
Yeah, priest drink.
Cool. Alrighty, next one.
Responsible.
Yeah, drink responsibly. Priests aren't allowed to have close friends.
False. Myth. Oh my goodness. That's a wild statement.
Can I read the researcher note, because keep this in mind, this is like the research team that compiled all these things of like people are saying this about like priests and stuff. Specifically, the researcher note is kind of interesting because it says their commitment to celibacy is often misunderstood as emotional isolation.
Oh.
That is the researcher note. It's like, because a lot of the responses was in result to like celibacy and like emotional distance and things like that. And so they kind of just said, okay, close friends as like the generalized thing. But to me, based on that particular researcher note, that makes it sound like opposite sex friends.
How about this story? I'm at a birthday party. This is my birthday party. And I invited a whole bunch of people that I know and that I work with and that had a general understanding of, and I felt very comfortable with them being there, and I still do.
Right.
I wouldn't change a single thing. And a young lady, she's a mother of two, wonderful teacher, great individual, respect the world of her. She comes up to me and she was just generally talking. We're having a good conversation. A bunch of other people had circled around us because the conversation got very interesting. And she was on the subject of something else. So what she was saying was more like a side note. Right. Real quick side note. And the side note was, yeah, you know, when it comes to my relationships, I always just try to be as professional as possible, but I also look for very close relationships, but it's hard. And then she had said, but I don't have to worry about that with you, Greg, because I know you're not attracted to women. You're celibate. And then just completely went on the beeline. And my eyebrows raised. I was like, wait a minute. And I had to have a question of myself, like, do I address this now? Do I need to address it? We're already on another subject. Nobody else, it didn't raise a red flag for anyone else. Like, whoa, that's not true.
No.
Which it makes me ask the question of, is this how you guys have been viewing me? That I am an asexual being that has no attractions whatsoever? I
don't think, okay, I'll raise you one. Back in the day, and I found this out, my grandma,
that's an interesting start.
I know. So, Grandma Claire, back in the day, Grandma Claire would talk about how, hey, you know, the church was like this back in the day, the church was like that back in the day. And I asked her, like, hey, can you tell me about how priests were back in the day? Because, like, I was trying to compare priesthood from back then to, like, here and all that stuff. And I wanted to know what the difference was between, like, Haitian priesthood and, like, American priesthood and, you know, Caribbean priesthood versus whatever. Because I was hearing some, like, stories, and it was like wild to me. I'm like, what do you mean, like, seminary was like 15 years? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What do you mean you start a seminary in high school and then, like, I'm like, what is all this? So she's like, oh yeah, no, for sure. And she's like, yeah, so there was a campaign put on by the Archdiocese at a certain point when she was in high school, explaining that priests aren't gay. It was a whole campaign. And they're like, listen, we ain't trying to discriminate about anybody. What you do on your free time is what you do. But priests are not by default gay.
Yeah.
And they had this, and they had to go through this thing because what was happening is that the diocese were seeing a rapid decline in the amount of men wanting to join because they thought they were going to turn gay as soon as they became priests. So they were just like, yo, that's not what happens. That's not what happened at all. Like, you come in, you learn, you do whatever. You don't lose anything. It's still a struggle. And so these guys were like, nah, we ain't gonna try. And you know how Caribbean people are. Like, as soon as they get the superstition thing, it sticks with them for a long time before. And so they had to be very aggressive about it. But the diocese was stuck in a really weird situation because they didn't want to like isolate the LGBT community. And at the same time, they were really trying to be like, you're not going to turn gay. Relax.
Exactly. You're not going to catch it. It's fine.
There's like, yo. So my grandma was like, yeah. So I remember Monsignor comes and puts us all in the assembly, and he decided to do an open panel.
Oh, no,
he decided to do an open panel.
No.
And on the open panel, he had 5 different priests. from 5 different parishes, all doing 5 different things. One was part of the tribunal, the other one was a pastor, one was associate, one was a vicar. Like, they're all doing random things. And his whole message was, it makes you a better man. It doesn't make you gay. It doesn't make you anything. And understand that your sexuality is your sexuality.
Yes.
And that's a discovery between you and God. So we're not talking about that. So don't worry about what your sexuality is. Just whatever. And then my grandma goes, I have a question.
I wonder where the kids get it from.
She goes, I have a question. And the Monsignor's like, yes, Claire, what is your question? She goes, you said they're not gay, right? And it's like, yeah, they're not gay. Can I ask them? It's like, yeah, you can go ahead, ask them. And she goes one by one. What was the name of your last girlfriend?
Yo! Wow. So we're interrogating people now? We're interrogating people now?
Well, you got to keep in mind the idea of cold dating in the Caribbean is not like a bad thing. So they're just like, oh, yo, everyone tell us her name. Tell us her name.
He's like, prove it. I had a girlfriend. I bet you did. What was her name?
I kissed a girl one time.
No, you didn't. Who?
And so the first guy, boom. So he's like, oh yeah, no problem. It was like, make a name, Josette. And Josette something. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then Josette's son was in the crowd.
Ooh.
And he goes, my mom knows you. Yeah, I remember that. She's mentioned you before in stories.
Is she still mentioning me?
This is before they became priests. Like, the second dude mentioned a name. The other kid was like, kids was in the crowd that knew that mom. Third kid, fourth priest. The 5th priest said a name. Nobody in the crowd knew that name.
I know, he was sweating.
Nobody in the crowd knew that name.
Sweating, man.
And she's like, and my grandma said, would you like to try again?
He gives a completely different name, and now everybody's real suspicious.
And he did give a completely different name. And then my grandma's like, I knew that name. That was a man. But no one else knew that it was a man. I knew it was a man. Because at the time, they didn't have like the whole like cross-dressing thing was a thing. And it was like, yeah, people knew this person as a woman, but they weren't a woman. Oof. And so my grandma she smiles a big smile and goes, oh, I remember her. She lived in my neighborhood yeah. It's unfortunate that she died. And then he goes, she's dead?
It was a deep connection.
She's like, she's dead?
It was a deep connection.
It was like, yeah. But, okay, cool. And he's like, thanks, Monsignor. And Monsignor's like, you see? And then she
cry in the car.
He says, Monsignor said, she said, the Monsignor said, you see, this is what Jesus does. It doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter who you are or what's in your bank account. Jesus will take anything and transform you from a boy into a man to serve him. And I was like,
with consent. Oh my goodness. That is the thing that they used to say in the 60s and 70s within seminaries and priests. They would say, we want you to have fraternity, but no particular friendships. And that's in quotation marks. And the term particular friendships would be made for men who had very close and more intimate relationships with men. And not in the way intimate, like, oh, we're just going to like have a good conversation by the campfire.
Right.
It was more like, we're going to do things with each other.
Right.
So that's what that meant.
Right. Well, and you know what? For as many people who like rail against the Catholic Church about like their stance on LGBT stuff, like they forget the Catholic Church was the biggest proponent to like providing harbor and safety to LGBT people in communities, providing like cover for LGBT people during times of persecution in communities where they didn't have to.
Yes.
And so like they would bring them into monasteries, bring them into these places and say like, hey, come here, be part of us, and just, you'll be safe. As long as you're within our borders, we can protect you. And people forget that. They forget that. So it's like, listen, rules are rules. Rules are rules. But it's not like we didn't accept people or didn't like treat them as human beings. We,
Of course.
baseline, the Catholic Church is always, universal church and big C church has always treated people, regardless of sexuality, as human beings. I just thought it was fascinating that like they had a whole campaign against like, hey, yo.
Unless you know what the general culture thought about the situation.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was a big thing. It wasn't until like the early 80s that they finally started to see a change.
Which is wild because the 80s in New York City, like between that and the HIV virus, like there was a lot going on with the idea of the LGBTQ community.
Cheers. Okay, so can you have close friends? Can you have close female friends? Let me ask the question. Are you allowed to have close female friends?
Yeah, but you also have to, if you're going to have a close female friend, you have to understand who you are,
right,
and what you can and can't do,
right.
Like, if you're going to have a close female friend as a priest, I'm not saying, oh, it's going to be dangerous, you're going to be tempted. You need to understand who you are as a man and know where you can go and where you can't go and what you can handle, what you can't handle.
Right.
Don't put yourself in a position and try and stretch it and think that you're going to go ahead and presume on your own celibacy, because there are going to be some people out there in this world who are not going to care what clothes you're wearing or that you have a collar on. You have to understand what you can and cannot handle. If you can't handle it, then don't do it, because you can actually hurt somebody.
Right. No, for sure. For sure. And I mean, like, I've seen this in practice.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, you and your sister-in-law, very close.
Very close. Very close. Love Brittany to death.
But, like, you would go out to eat with Brittany.
Oh, yeah.
At, like, 6 o'clock.
I wouldn't think twice of it.
But you're not going to take a random parishioner out.
Nope.
By yourself.
Nope.
At 6 o'clock to go
Nope.
eat dinner. Like, it's not going to be.
I don't care how long we've been together. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, like you're saying, boundaries. Set rules for yourself. Set boundaries for yourself. Get home at 9 o'clock. Like that. Those types of things.
Like the nuns.
Like the nuns. And nuns had it right. All right.
White flags.
Next question for you. Tell me, is it myth or reality? Priests are only interested in money.
There are some that are, but it's a myth.
Nah. Our priests only interested in money. Listen, if my church just got a renovation for bathrooms and it only has one stall and one toilet, but it cost us $100,000 to do this bathroom. That's a real quote, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's look at it this way, because it's a myth, but let's look at it this way. Mm-hmm. If you're going to mass, say, one time a week, right?
Right.
You're not going to see the priest as many times as the person who's going to daily mass. Correct?
That's true.
Right. So 7 times going to mass in 1 week, you're going to hear that priest talk about lots of things in that homily.
Right.
About his past, about things he likes to do, about not just the gospel, but the gospel within the gospel. You're going to hear lots and lots of things. If you go to mass one time a week or even one time a month, and the one time you hear that, you see the capital campaigns going on, oh, he's always asking for money. He's always asking for money. He's asking for lots of things.
Right.
But he is the sole owner of that household, basically.
Right.
Right. He's the CEO of the parish.
Right.
So it's his job to upkeep the building, the things that you don't even have to think about. You don't got to think about tuck pointing.
Yeah.
You just got to go to mass for an hour.
Right.
You don't got to think about how that baptismal fund's getting paid. You don't got to think about the debt ceiling and how we're going to bring down the debt, because contrary to popular belief, keeping debt in a building is not a good idea. It doesn't help you on your taxes. You need to pay off the debt. So how are you going to do that? Like these are the things that your priest is staying up at night trying to think about. On top of that, we're losing parishioners. How are we going to pay for stuff? That's stuff that keeps them up. So when we say things like, oh, well, the priest only cares about money, like, well, he has to care about money in some way, shape, or form just in order to take care of the physical building. Yeah. And then there's outreach stuff. How are we going to feed the poor? And then how are we going to get these 2 charter buses to get the youth group all the way to Atlanta, Georgia to go to Steubenville? Right. Like things like that keep coming up. So does he keep talking about money? Yeah, because the money's still needed. Yeah. It is what it is.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You can tell me whether or not you can choose whether or not you want to answer this question. All right. Ooh. Because again, researcher note, it's saying it's pulling from scandals involving financial mismanagement, creating lasting damage to trust. Now, I understand what you're saying about like because that what you just got through saying is exactly what you hear a lot on Sundays. Like, oh, priest always asks me money. It's like, yeah, John, but you're only here like once every other Sunday.
That's 1 hour a week.
You should also go to confession about that because you're required to be here every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, John? But like, that's neither here nor there. Like, when we're looking at like major financial crisis.
Yes.
Like, okay, a case in point. You have a diocese that I'll just even use our archdiocese of Dubuque, right?
Okay.
We have a massive shortfall.
Yes.
There's like a massive shortfall right now. It's a publicly known thing that there's a massive shortfall. I think like millions of dollars, like what, $10-15 million or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
12 to 15.
Like 12, 15 or something like that. So it's like 12, 15 million. And that's publicly known. People look at that number and go, I don't know. Because when they go back to like the 90s, they go, you were also short 20 million in the 90s. Didn't we raise the 20 million for the 90s? So what happened between the 90s and the now and the fund that we're putting this money in that there's less people to pay for because they've died? We have fundamentally less priests.
Yeah.
We're getting less services. Like, a lot of things are far less than they were before. So why are we constantly having a shortfall? And I think that's where people start to get a mistrust about like finance campaigns. Because you look at dioceses like the Diocese of Orange. The Diocese of Orange is one of the wealthiest dioceses in the world. But they don't question. They're just like, okay, it sounds good because their houses are clean. Diocese of Palm Beach, incredibly wealthy. I think they're number two, number three. They themselves, you go to any parish there, they're able to pay for their books, they're able to take care of their parishes and things like that. So like, you know, it's one of those things of like, I think when it comes to this whole priest only interested in money, can you speak on that? Like, why is it that you'll look at some dioceses and they seem like they have their stuff together.
Yeah.
But then you look at another diocese and you're like, you're constantly short.
Yes.
And so if I'm a parishioner and I'm looking at it, like I look at myself and I go, I originally lived in a place where they managed their money well because they didn't put the pressure on priests to manage money. They hired accountants. And so now I live in a place where they're putting priests who don't have accounting degrees to manage money. They're sitting there going like, yeah, whatever. And we're constantly short. Something to me says if 1 + 1 = 2, maybe we should stop trying to reinvent the wheel.
Well, one of the more controversial and also often difficult thing about seminary is that we don't take an accounting class. Not one.
Wait, pause. I just said, And that washed over me for a second?
Yeah.
Question. I'm just going to ask you this. Just tell me yes or no. You don't got to elaborate.
All right.
You don't got to elaborate. Pastoral planning.
Yeah.
In terms of like running a parish.
Yes.
Do you take a class on that?
What do you mean by...
So do you take a class that literally goes through the process of this is how you run a parish?
No.
Okay. Do you take a class that tells you this is how a structure of a parish works and this is what you need in order for your parish to be functional?
No.
Okay. Do you take a class on building like a church community? And this is how you practically build a church community. These are the pieces or pillars that you need. This is your role and this is how that works throughout that.
Listen, we got theology. But what we do to mitigate that,
Okay,
because I understand that what you're saying is a problem, because I acknowledge it. It is a problem too. But what we do instead is do the summer term semesters. So exactly. Hear me out. We listen and we don't judge.
No, I can't. Not on this. God, because I'm trying to route this through my own field. Effectively, what you just told me is like, hey, you're going to be a mental health counselor.
Yes.
You're going to go through 3 years of hellacious training.
Yes.
For that, and you're going to do another 2 years being supervised, and then you'll be a permanent licensed person. So all in all, it's going to be a 5-year program. It's going to be tough, but you're going to get through it. Great. And then when you're on your own, you were never taught how to diagnose. You were never taught how to set up a counseling session. You were never taught about the therapeutic process. You were never taught how the mind actually works at the end of the day as it relations to like how you push and pull from people and what structures and frameworks look like. You're not taught any of that stuff.
I mean, we got all like the stuff surrounding it, like the theology and the philosophy.
You taught us about Freud, and that's it. And then you taught us about like some of the theoretical orientations, but you took out the one part that was like, hey, yo, and this is how you apply it to your everyday life.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
It's not the same thing. So it's like at the same time,
We listen and we don't judge. All right, fine.
we
fine.
listen and we don't judge. But you're right. Like we had to do years of training. So we didn't just do 5 years. I did 9, right? Technically 11 with all the things in between.
Right.
But the stuff that happens during the summer, when you go to these parishes for the summer and you stay there and you're watching the pastor and you're taking part in the pastoral council. So you've lived years and years and years of parish life in all different types of settings all over the country.
But I know a lot of dioceses that don't do that, though.
That's also true.
There are dioceses, and I'm not going to name them. There are dioceses that do not allow their seminarians to actually go to parishes because priests don't want seminarians there because they would have to take care of them.
That's also true.
So then it's like they don't even get that summer experience.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, fine. they're not getting prepared that way.
I know a diocese that does not let their seminarians do pastoral work outside of their diocese. So if they're in the seminary and they want to do pastoral work, they have to come back to their diocese to do pastoral work. They can't do it anywhere else.
How is that even practical?
It's not, because if you ever have to leave your diocese for any reason, like you have to go to Rome or you have to get outsourced somewhere else, or you get some kind of side or special type of ministry that requires you to live outside of your diocese, you only know how you were formed in your diocese as if that is the only right way to do something.
That's insane.
That blows my mind to me.
That's insane to me. That is literally insane to me.
Yeah, it is. But that decision comes from the top. Like, that's not is this a personal preference? It's a personal preference of whoever's at the top who makes that decision. And it's unfortunate, but there's literally nothing that other people can do about it.
So then when you get back to the thing where it's just like, yo, priests are only interested in money, like,
I would say no.
Okay.
We're not only interested in money, but
Okay.
it's necessary that we are.
okay. So it's not really like an interest in money, but you also have to have like this mindset where you're like, well, I have to know about it and I have to know something.
Yes.
I have to be good at it somewhat just so I can like keep these parishes afloat.
I still hate asking people for money. I never liked asking my parents for money.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still don't like asking people for money or doing fundraisers. But what I'll do is say, hey, this is how much we need. This is how much we're short. This is how much we need in order to get the job done. This is how much we need in order to do the job and make sure that it's worthy for you guys.
So last question, because because on this, I have tons of questions. I'm just thinking about it. But then how do you so as a parish community, or even as a diocesan community, like if you're looking at it and you're constantly seeing your diocese fall short and there's no good explanation and you're not getting a good explanation from your bishop or anything like that, like what recourse do you have? Because then it's like, I'm just not going to give you any money. But if I do that, then I run the risk that the parishes are going to close, and that is negative for me because I don't have more opportunities to go to mass or more access to the sacrament. So it's like, I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. So what do I do?
Well, I would say that is a very unfortunate situation because personally speaking, I think the next big scandal that the church will have to deal with is not going to be a scandal of sexual abuse. I think that scar has been put on the capital C church and we've dealt with it for years and years and years. I think the next big scandal is going to be finances and money laundering.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's the next big one.
Well, because you do have a lot of people that and I'll say it, like a lot of finances that get released publicly don't make sense.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there who kind of go on I don't even know if there's a way to say this, like the old sensibilities of handshakes and, and this person just always has the checkbook and there's not a lot of checks and balances.
Like there isn't a procurement. It's wild to me that there's no procurement process where like the church is required to put out open bids. Because you'll see the same person do it for 30 years and you wonder, why are you doing it for 30 years?
Yeah.
Like, how much are you getting paid to do it for 30 years? And then you look at the materials that they put out and you're like, this is not that good for you to get paid. Why are we paying this? Like, what are we doing?
That's a good question. That's an honest question.
But you know what? We ain't here trying to solve the world's problems. We just here trying to figure out whether it's a myth or reality.
Hey.
In shadows deep, where truth is veiled, through whisper soft, the question knelt. We seek the path, we yearn to see. Is it a myth or reality?
Say my name, don't be scared now. Let's talk about it. Don't hold back, put it all out. I wanna know what's on your mind. You can't keep playing with the time. Let's talk about it. We don't talk it all night.
The main segment today we're talking about is boundaries and burnout.
Ooh.
And so basically, at the end of the day, being in service, engaging with people, that's all great and dandy. But without boundaries, things tend to lead to burnout. And so what I just want to throw at you is like, a lot of times we just say yes without really thinking about it. So let's talk about when it's appropriate to say no.
Yes.
And when no is far better than saying yes. And so, like, when I think about the situation, and when I think about this particular topic about boundaries and burnout, there's a couple of things we got to do. Is we got to define terms.
Yes.
So boundaries are going to be things that keep you in check and have no bearings on the other person.
Correct.
Okay. So it's like, and for everybody's listening, like a lot of times you're going to go through Instagram. It's like, yeah, set your boundaries. And then that person violated your boundaries. Like, no, people cannot violate your boundaries. The only person that's going to violate your boundaries is you. You can have rules and people can violate your rules. But a lot of times what happens is we conflate rules with boundaries because we want to be able to control the behaviors of other people. And that's not how relationships are predicated. And that's not how relationships work. As much as we love to spend time with people, as much as we love to engage with people, we can't control them. And that's what makes a beautiful relationship, is knowing that when someone is engaging with you, it is their free choice that they're engaging with you.
Yes.
If someone sacrifices for you, it's because their free choice that they're sacrificing for you.
Yeah.
So to sit there and say like, oh, they violated your boundaries, that is an incomplete and a misleading statement. What happens is you violated your own boundaries. And then this person just did what they told you they were going to do to begin with.
Yes.
So if you have a boundary, it means that your life is now going to be defined. The purpose of a boundary is to define where your house is, not to define where your neighbor house begins.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. It's to define where your house is, not to define where your neighbor house begins.
Yes.
And as that goes, you need to establish, is this a hard line? Is this a soft line? So if all your soft line boundaries are going to be things that you know, there's some give, there's some leeway.
Yeah.
Your hard line boundaries are going to be things there's absolutely no give and there's no leeway, and you have to be willing to make those decisions. So if something is coming close to that, you have to decide, either I end this relationship, either I walk away from this, either I don't engage with this person, or I change my boundary, because really, if I want to engage with this person, that's what this is going to take.
Yes. And the way that you know whether or not you need to make an edit through your boundaries is how much resentment you feel towards what you're doing and who you're spending time with. A lot of times that's going to be your first step. That's going to be your first emotion that hits you. Oh, these people are always using me. Oh, I'm always super tired. Oh, I always feel like I got to do everything at this job, at this company, within this family, this, that, and the third. That resentment that you feel comes from the need to edit and also follow up on the boundaries that will make things appropriate and also life-giving for you. Yeah. How many stories have I heard about someone who died in a family? It was a parent, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, best friend, and all of a sudden a lot of the funeral processions, the plannings, the dinners, all those things kind of falls to one person, and the resentment that they feel because they loved their person that died, but now they feel an intense amount of resentment, negativity, anger, unjust emotions towards their family members, towards their friends, because in a time of need, everyone seemed to scatter and all the weight fell on one person's shoulders. And now I have conflicting emotions about my grandpa dying. I feel guilty because I have to do all this stuff, but I don't want to do it. I don't got the time to do it. And I'm running myself rugged 14, 18 hours a day, not sleeping because I love my grandfather, but it's all on me. And why is nobody helping me? I hate this.
And you know, that individual could be in session with me. Right? And I'll look at them and say, so why are you doing it?
Oof.
And they will look at me like I just cursed them out.
Yes. Yeah.
But
immediately, of course.
But it is a fundamental question. If you don't want to do it, why are you doing it?
Because they feel obligated.
And that's the thing. Are you obligated?
You're not.
Or is it something that you're doing because you want to do? So like you can't have it both ways. It's like if you said, hey, I want to do this for my grandfather, then it really doesn't matter how much you're doing. You're doing it for your grandfather, right?
Exactly.
And you're making a decision that, hey, I'm doing all these different things. And if no one else is participating, no one else is helping you, then why aren't you doing it in a way that makes sense to you?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but if you didn't put in work or money or energy into this particular
Let
thing,
them know.
why do you have a say at the table?
I'll let you know this. If I'm planning a vacation, because now it's getting real. If I'm planning a vacation and say I'm going to the Bahamas and it's going to cost me $1,500 for my room and for my airline flight, right? And all of a sudden, someone else hears I'm going to the Bahamas in my family and says, hey, Father Greggy, my boy.
We don't even got to use a fake example. Okay, we don't even got to use a fake example. Dude, remember, we went on vacation. We all went on vacation. You were like, yo, I want to go to the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
We were all quiet about it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Brittany perks up. We can go to the Bahamas.
I was like, I wasn't asking, but okay.
I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then so what started off as just like a one-person trip turned into like a 3-person trip, and then turned into like a 5-person trip.
We gotta bring the girls. Can't leave the girls along. I'm like, yo, I was just going for this ordination, but okay, that's fine.
And then went back down to a 3-person trip because it was like, hey, okay, cool. Now we got reasons. Now we got babysitters and all this stuff. But when we finalized everything and it was a 3-person trip, right? There's the 3 of us. Fine, great and dandy. We paid for a portion of it.
Yes.
You paid for a portion of it.
Yep.
You know what? We got to figure out what we want to do. We chopped it up and we figured, hey, we want to go here, we want to go there, do. But remember, there's something I didn't pay for. You know what I didn't pay for? I didn't pay for the flight upgrade. You paid for the flight upgrade. Right? Because after you got clowned
about flying basic economy,
about flying business,
which is what I can afford because I'm a man of the cloth. What do you want from me?
You see, like my wife's a travel agent on the side. So she is a travel agent, but so she heard he was flying basic economy and did not let him hear the last of it.
Yes.
And so in our family, you know, it's one of those things where we hold you to a standard.
I'll tell you this: the last flight I took, I flew first class for the first time in my life, and took a photo and sent it to them saying, "I am not flying basic economy. If you are here flying basic economy, that's good."
You sound like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that's a wild story. I actually did sit next to Shawn Michaels on the way home, which was incredible. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Shawn Michaels! Oh my gosh, it's Shawn Michaels!
It's the Heartbreak Kid!
It's the Heartbreak Kid! Ah!" With the fireworks and everything, like I was so excited. I was a big wrestling fan growing up. I kind of still am. And so I'm like, hey, Mr. Michaels, I don't even know if that's your really last name. I don't think it is your real last name, but I was like, Mr. Michaels, I'm just a huge fan. I grew up watching you. Is it okay if I take a picture with you? It's the first time I ever felt like a real fan. I felt like a little boy.
Yeah, but you had your clerics on.
I did.
So he was just kind of like,
he's not gonna say no.
yeah, let's do it.
Fool going to Vegas. I'm like, he's probably about to go gamble. I don't really know. I was like, I don't know. No, that's your business.
But so you upgraded your flight. We didn't upgrade the flight, right? And it was like, okay, whatever. And then like on the trip, there were excursions that you paid for the whole family.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, we just gonna do it. I couldn't say anything about the excursions because I did not pay for the excursions. It wasn't my money that paid for the excursions. On the flip side of it, when we went out and we were gallivanting on the actual island, we met some priests and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, hanging out.
I paid for a couple of things.
Yep.
I did not hear anything from you.
Nope.
Or any of the people that we were with.
Nope.
That said, hey, how come this ain't this? How come? No.
I'm not going to ask how come I don't get the best expensive tiki drink and I don't get the take home mug with the hula dancers, like, because I'm not paying for it. So therefore, why would I ask for more?
Right. it's not my money.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to be the one that sits there and says, whatever. I'm not putting anything into it. I'm
Exactly.
just coming for the thing.
That's courtesy.
And so at the end of the day, I think a lot of times what's happening is people are putting all this pressure and saying like, I need to have a say. And it's like, if you want to say,
Then you need to put something up as collateral, as in your time, your money, your sweat,
Something.
your blood, some.
But you know what? A lot of times what happens there is that then people start to look at it and say like, but I don't want my relationship to be transactional. Newsflash, it's going to be transactional. A majority of your relationships are transactional.
Sacrifice will be transactional. If you do something incredible for another individual, and at the end of the day you want to be cool and just walk away like, you know what? That's just what heroes do. And like whatever you think is going to be in your head. When you do great sacrifice and great acts of love for an individual, that is a bit of a transaction because someone looks at that and translates that as that person loves me.
Yeah.
Like if you are a good, healthy, speaking, individual, you think that person really loves me.
Yeah.
Why? Because they showed up to my grandfather's funeral when they live in Kansas City and I live in Iowa.
Yeah.
They had to drive here or I had to take a flight here just for me.
Yeah.
That means that person loves me. And so you're going to either get a really great card or forever. The next time you're in trouble and that individual has the ability to earthly splendor to try and do something to help you, they most likely, if they are a good person, will do that.
Yeah. I mean, even if they're not a good person, they're
like,
going to be like,
I owe him one.
I owe him one.
I owe him one. I owe him one.
It's like, oh, they came all the way. I got to. I guess you could stay at my house.
Thanks for the candy bar.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing though. And that's why like that's why something like Jesus dying on the cross.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the pinnacle of like agape love because that is something where there is no reciprocation.
Exactly.
Like there is nothing that we could do to reciprocate that back. And so if we are engaging with other people and we're saying like, yes, we're doing it to be sacrificial, words have meaning.
Yes.
So if you're going to say like, I'm doing this the same way God did this for us, then why are you upset?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people that don't care.
You know, the other side of that sacrificial love and Jesus dying on the cross is the other part of the Quo Vadis story with Peter.
Yeah.
He's walking away from the city from the persecution of Emperor Nero and he's going to die. He got told he was going to die and he's already clear and he's safe. He's on his way out of town and then he sees Jesus carrying his cross back towards the city and he asks him, Quo Vadis, where are you going? He says, I'm going to go die for my people. And Peter goes, He's like, I was just going to go on vacation. I know. I just made it clear and smooth. I'm already old. I was about to go live the rest of my life.
That's why Peter decided to go upside down.
Exactly. Because he said, I was not worthy to be crucified the way that my Lord was. Because I tried to run multiple times. I ran when he was getting crucified the first time.
You know what? That's why you got to be like John. That's what my life goals be. I'm trying to be like John.
You're just trying to die in exile, not end up getting murdered?
I mean, that's it.
He's like, what else is there?
What else is there? What else is there? Like, why?
I'm trying to be a saint.
Hey, that's a good aspiration.
This sounds like good luck with that.
No. Here's my problem though, because there's not a lot of married saints.
There's a few.
Name them.
I don't remember the name
exactly.
Of the icon. I saw an icon once.
Yeah, you saw an icon once. You have Anne and Joachim, right?
Yeah, of course.
That get nominated as a saint. Saint. We don't know a lot about Anne and Joachim.
Not James.
James and who?
John and Mary? Joseph and Mary?
Joseph and Mary. They're both celibate. And they basically were like, you have a priest and a nun that kind of live together.
Yeah. It's not really the same thing.
I mean, they never did anything with each other.
Wait, so are you saying that it's hard to have a couple?
I'm saying you can't have non-medical insomnia with somebody and also like end up in the pantheon. Like I don't see how that happening.
Why? If God created that as well, that's also good, is it not?
Okay, sir. This is clearly being said for someone who hasn't had non-medical insomnia.
I'm just saying, we need to put that on a t-shirt. Yo, I'm just looking for some non-medical insomnia. No, because here's the thing. And I'm not saying that married people can't be saints. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's just a lot harder because you have a lot more distractions in play. Because when you have kids, when you have you're like, so as a husband, my time that I can spend in prayer
is going to be very limited. Whereas your time as a priest, a single man, is going to be far greater that you can spend in prayer.
Yes.
If you need time and you're like, hey, I am not in a good place, I need to go pray, you can do that. I can do that within reason. I can't do that all the time.
Okay.
And so because of that, there are far more barriers in place. And this is why we don't see a lot more married saints out there. And we don't have a lot of concrete examples. And the examples that we do have, typically it was like, yeah, they were married, but they got their marriage annulled, and then one became a priest and the other became a nun, and then, you know, after the kids got through, I'm like, it's like, usually that's what happened.
I mean, if you want to, you can be the first. Amongst the first. You can change that narrative if you want.
Yeah.
And so is anybody else who's listening to this. I'm talking to you too.
Yeah.
Directly.
You know what? I'm swayed. I'm swayed. No,
That's all it took?
Well, because like I'm thinking about it, we've had these conversations before.
Oh, yes, of course.
And, you know, it is something where, like, I look at it and I go, like, striving for sainthood has always been something where I've been of two minds, because I've always believed saints to be people that are set apart from the population and not something that you can attain per se. Like, you are chosen to be a saint rather than like you develop into a saint. That's always been my like thought process.
Yeah.
Just simply because I'm like, it's a different type of person to become like Saint Jerome or Saint JP2 or Augustus Tolton, or like, it's a different mindset. It's a different charisma, a different personality to be that, and you have to be divinely chosen. And that's how I've always viewed it. Our conversations that we've had kind of softened me to the idea of like, well, no, maybe it could be cultivated in a very tangible way. And the example that you've consistently used is JB2 of like, look at his life. It is as normal of a life as you're going to see. And so,
well, in a way of like his manner of relating to people, he had a very hard life, but
but that's what I mean though. It's not something where his life isn't something where I'm sitting there going like, yeah, he came from the lap of luxury, like St. Francis of Assisi, and then like gave up his wealth and then went into the woods, and then people just was giving him money constantly to take care of him and all his followers. Like, that's not the situation he found himself in. He lived in poverty. He had Soviet Russia. His story is realistic. Yeah. And we have so much documentation, and it was something that we grew up with, and we got to watch him change and grow and adapt and become into the saintly figure that we know now. And that example is something that really does change my mentality. And so I'm like, yeah, you know, that is that. And mainly I just think I'm not worthy of it. So I'm just like, I can't bring myself to that level. And so I'm just like, yeah, no, those guys are better than me.
Well, that's another conversation entirely.
Yeah. And one of these days we got to have that conversation full.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
of worthiness.
Yeah, worthiness. It's like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. But, you know, so we'll do it. We'll do it.
I mean, I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
And I know you being petty, you're not going to let me get there.
No. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Like, we're not dying as and companions.
Absolutely not. We will be known as the Brothers in Black. I don't care.
You heard it here, folks.
Okay. Let's end that segment. All right, cool.
Say my name, don't be scared now. Let's talk about it. Don't hold back, put it all out. I wanna know what's on your mind. Can't keep playing with the time. Let's talk about it. We don't talk at all. Hey, tell me, baby, what's the word?
just like last time, word on the street. These are hot takes. These are kind of fun. These are a little bit spicy. These are a little bit spicy. I think the first time we did hot takes, they weren't as spicy. They were pretty like benign, but these were a little bit more spicy.
It depends.
Okay.
But Hear Me Out was more spicier than the hot take was.
Hear me out.
It got hot. It got heated.
It did get heated. Ready? Here's your hot take. If we donate for 50 seminarians and only 10 become priests, we should get a refund for the other 40.
Yo.
Don't promise what you can't deliver.
Wow.
The explanation is parishioners often donate under the impression that they're funding the future priests and not failed vocations. Transparency about priests, about seminarian retention rates and how funds are allocated could build trust and prevent frustration over perceived broken promises. If church communities can't guarantee numbers, if church communities can't guarantee numbers, they can guarantee accountability, which I think is fair. The explanation is what saved it for me. So I'm going to say 100% agree. I 100% agree.
I'm going to 100% disagree.
What? No. If we raised money for, like, Doug, this is what I'm talking about. If we raised money for 50 guys to go in, I get not all the guys are going to make it through.
Yeah.
But ain't no reason we should only get 10. Why did only 10 make it through? And then I see 20 of them become priests for other places. Like, that's not fair. What happened to the money? No. What happened to the money I put in? I put in all this money and then you let them go? You told me he discerned out. Next thing I find out, he's in the middle of somewhere else. In the middle of Kansas talking about this ain't Florida no more. Like, yo.
That's how I got to Iowa, Doug.
No, you were on vacation, though.
For a little bit, then I wasn't.
No, you weren't.
Hold on, you're off.
I know, you helped out with the house, though. It was great having you home, though.
No, it was great. I got to rebuild myself. It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. No, but what you saying? You 100% disagree? I
100% disagree, and here's why. Because from the perspective of a guy who was a seminarian for a very long time and went from diocese to diocese, if an individual pays for all of my schooling, and no one ever looked at me and said, "Yeah, I'm just going to write you a check to go all the way through." That's not how that goes. But if someone were to pay for all of my schooling all the way through, the amount of guilt and obligation I would feel for leaving would be immense.
Well, I don't think they're talking about the specific guy. I think it's more so because the explanation was like, if we're funding we're funding priests and not failed vocations, like, then let's fund priests. And I think at least the way I'm interpreting it, I'm interpreting it as more so as like, hey, we should have, like, if you're going to raise like $20 million for seminarians, but then when I see the poster and I see like 30 guys, but I only see like 1 or 2 come out of the 30 guys on the poster.
I mean, that means it wasn't for them.
But all 30? All 30? It
wasn't for them. Pick different guys.
I can't, dog. That to me, I can't. I can't rock with that explanation.
Yeah, that's between you and God.
I can't rock with that. That's fine, but I can't rock with that explanation. Like, in no other context does that make sense to me. Like, you can't get 30 guys together and then be like, yeah, you're going to go through this process. And then all of a sudden, 28 of them just go like, whatever. Because it's not like they come out like Navy SEALs. That's my thing. If they came out like Navy SEALs, I get it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so rigorous. It's so hard. It's so, like, difficult. It's whatever. But we don't even know. There is no rubric that gets published by the seminary that goes like, hey, this is the thing.
Well, I mean, they have the PPF. They're going off the PPF.
Yeah, but like, there's no actual rubric that says like, hey, this is what is required of you to. Case in point, St. John Vianney. Mm-hmm. You got in trouble if you did not iron your shirt a proper way. Yes. And it was a specific way that you had to iron your shirt.
Yes.
And it had to have a certain amount of starch in it.
Yes.
That's not in the PPF.
Nope. That's individual to that seminary.
Right. It has nothing to do with the PPF. But there are guys that got in trouble so many times because of that, mm-hmm. that they're just like, hey, yo, you got to take a year off. Mm-hmm. Now they're priest, but they had to take a year off. Well, some of them are.
Yeah.
But like, they had to take a year off because they got in trouble so many times because they were unable to iron their shirt a certain way. But then again, I looked at their schedule. I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to like press it to the specifications unless, you decide not to sleep for a couple hours.
I see that situation. I'll raise you one more.
Okay.
At another seminary that I went to, I got in trouble with my formation advisor. Him and I had a meeting, and he said, "Hey, Greg, we need to talk about the length of your nails."
Word?
The length of my fingernails.
That's not in the PPF?
It's not in the PPF. And I said, "What's wrong with the length of my fingernails?" Mind you, I'm not going around with I don't even know how to say it. Overly long fingernails, feminine fingernails. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going along with like Edward Scissorhand fingernails.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening here. But he said the length of your fingernails are too long. I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll cut them." Like, no. I was specifically told in a meeting with all the formation advisors and the rector that I need to be sure to tell you that you can't be having your fingernails this long. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know that this was that serious of a situation." And I kind of started to chuckle a little bit because like, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it really is.
I know you're trying to take this seriously, and the fact that you're taking this so seriously is making me laugh. And he's like, "Yeah, it came across very serious. And the reason that it came across seriously is that someone in the meeting, because this is when you know someone's guilty because they never want to say who it was in the meeting that said this."
Right.
He said, someone in the meeting said, if his fingernails are that long and he's not cutting them, what else is he dropping the ball on in formation?
What?
Dog? So serious. I'm embellishing none of this.
Oh my goodness.
And so I got shocked. I was like, I'm sorry, but how did they, was I somewhere in the seminary and they saw my fingernails? Like, I'm walking, my hands are moving. Like, I'm in class. Was it a teacher? Was it a seminary? Like, who said, and when did they observe my fingernails being so long?
How did I got the time to observe your fingernails?
Oh, I'll tell you. I got told this because it was the rector at the time. And the rector at the time said that we were having community mass on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And I walked up for communion and I put my hands out to receive communion. And when he placed the host in my hands, he noticed how long my fingernails were. So he told my formation advisor that he needed to tell me to cut my fingernails because I might be cutting things off in formation.
What does that have to do with the PPF?
It's been years and I have no idea because it has nothing to do with the PPF.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, so there's a lot of guys that are getting clipped for things like I understand that there's a standard for stuff.
Clipped.
I can't think of clip. Listen, I get there's a standard. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a standard, but to a certain degree, I think the standard's a little ridiculous when you don't even publish, like, hey, these are things that will kick you out. Like, if I went to medical school, they have a list of things. It's like, if you do any of these things, this we will kick you out.
Yes.
I don't know what those things are for seminary.
I can tell you this on my formation evaluation that year, at the end of the year, because you get a whole write-up.
Yeah.
And it's long. It's like pages long.
Oh, yeah.
And breaking this dude down.
Oh, we need to do an episode when we read. I can read my old one. You want to read one of yours?
I can read one of my old ones, and I can read my most recent one, and we can see the difference.
Oh yeah, okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I'll read one I had at the beginning of the year, and then one I had at the end of the year, and you can see the difference.
At the end of the year, this is how it was written in my official file. Like, this still exists in my priestly file within the diocese from years ago.
Right.
It said that Gregory, because that's how I was addressed, Mr. Lambert, Gregory Lambert, we address issues that he had with his hygiene.
Wow.
That's how it's written. It's hygiene. It's vague hygiene.
Wow.
And like, that sounds like I'm not showering.
Yeah,
that sounds like I'm dirty.
But that's a completely different issue. That's a if someone says like, "Yo, he's having hygiene issues," that's a different issue from he doesn't clip his fingernails.
Exactly. But on the next sentence, because they will do this, on the next sentence, they put in parentheses fingernails. He addressed his hygiene issue.
Wow.
Fingernails. So if you stopped reading a line before that, or you just clip that line.
Wow.
This dude is dirty. He don't shower. He don't work the deodorant.
That's dirty. But you see, hey, listen, this is why I feel like they should release their list and be like, "Yo, this is the reasons why you get kicked out of seminary." And keep it consistent. Mm-hmm. Keep it consistent. It doesn't matter
if it's like a situation where you don't want to embarrass the individual, like this was a scandalous situation.
Well,
there should be an identifying marker for that as well. Like,
well,
hey,
yeah, or not even like, because even if you don't want to, like, because I can see that getting out of hand too. Exactly. Be like, yeah, right, like, oh, they got this situation F, which is like
this guy had a girlfriend.
Yeah, like scandalous, and it's like scandalous. Like, what's scandalous? Because then you get into the question of like,
we can go. I can go for what's scandalous.
Right.
I understand what that is.
Right. But like, But also, let's just be fair. Scandalous in seminary could also be like a girl kissed you on the cheek. Like you didn't do anything. The girl kissed you on the cheek. That's scandalous.
Or you got found at a certain hour late at night walking with a female.
Right.
You don't even have to do anything.
Right.
And that scandal can be. It is what it is.
And when we say late hour, it means like 9 o'clock. We're not talking about like
midnight. Like the sun was down. It was nighttime. The street lights were on. What were you doing at Kendall Mall with this individual?
It's just like, yo, what are you talking about? It's a mall. Like what? There's thousands of people around. Like what?
But it was 9 o'clock and it was close to curfew and you were with the female. What was going on?
You see, that's the type of stuff that I feel like shouldn't be factors to get guys. Like it is what it is. We can talk about that more. But here's a hot take. New hot take.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. Priests should get a relieve yourself holiday.
No.
Or a
no.
Or one designated girlfriend. Better than pent up frustration spilling into the pulpit.
Nope. Also, if there's pent up, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off.
Just let me get to like what the explanation is. The explanation says the celibacy rule, while spiritual in intent, often leads to emotional isolation and burnout, allowing priests an outlet for healthy human connection, whether through designated breaks or revisiting the celibacy rule, could foster better mental health and more effective ministry. A balanced priest is a better priest. That's the explanation that they gave for the hot take.
100% no. 100% no. And I'm gonna tell you exactly 100% no why. Like, let's square this circle for me.
Okay. I got you.
How are we going to consistently say that the sacrament of holy matrimony is blessed and beautiful?
Do you want me to actually do the mental gymnastics, or do you want? Is that a rhetorical question? Because I can do the mental gymnastics for you.
Oh no, I can too. But that's not the point of this. I can't too because I've heard this before. I hear confessions. I do spiritual direction. I know the mental gymnastics.
Because really, if you want to go there, it's just basically like, hey, yo, are you not married to the church? And am I not part of the church? So aren't you just partaking in the things that you've already committed yourself to?
Nah, you're a cousin of the church, and that's this ain't the South. Like, we ain't doing this. Sorry to all my Southern people. I'm Southern too. Just know it's all in the family. Get it? Anyway, so
Pause.
How are we going to consistently say that a sacrament is holy? Like holy matrimony is a sacrament and it's beautiful and it's something that's respected.
Right.
And also holy orders is beautiful and it's something that's loved and respected. Mm-hmm. But I need a break from one sacrament to partake in another.
You don't.
Because I'm breaking my sacrament.
Can I revise this hot take? Let me revise this.
I gave you an answer. That was a question that was asked.
No.
I'm giving the answer.
You raise a good point, and because you raised that good point, I want to revise the hot take.
Okay.
Because I feel like this hot take could actually be good if it
a good hot take or a good situation.
No, this could be a better hot take if it was rephrased to take into account what you just said.
Okay.
So like, instead of like, oh, a relieve yourself holiday, that's a little much.
Yeah, like the Mormons. Like we're not doing this. That's not going to solve anything. This is going to make you more frustrated because you're going to come back from your holiday and be like, Esperanza. Esmeralda. Now I'm sitting here in this pastoral council meeting just dying.
Now you're sitting there, there she is. Like just singing. My heart is torn. Like, no. If I'm going to revise this hot take, I would much rather it be like, it's possible, like, priests should be allowed to have a, like, I don't even know what to call it. Call
it what you want. Like, just be careful what you call it.
No, I know. But it's like, it's not even like, I need you to help me out here. Because it's not like, because I'm not saying like I'm not calling it a partner. It's not anything like that. It's not anything to the point in which you're like blurring the lines. It's basically like this designated person or like a person that they have identified that they have a relationship with that's purely platonic. And you're like, hey, this is my person. It's okay. We're not doing anything untoward and it should be accepted. Like it's not like a weird thing. Like they're not gonna be out like
morally non-monogamous. Is that what we talked about at some point?
No,
ethically non-monogamous.
Ethically non-monogamous? No. It's not an ethically non-monogamous thing. Morally non-monogamous? No. It's more like, hey, because here's my thing. It's difficult for men and women to have relationships with each other without their developing some type of feelings,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So there's it's not to say that it's not possible, but it is to say that it's difficult. And so like that being said, I think to a certain degree, if you have developed that type of relationship where both of you are purely platonic, that does mean you do have some firm rules in place. Like, hey, we're not going to spend time here together. We're not going to do this together. We're not going to do that together. Those things are in place. I also, just dealing with priests, watching priests, like counseling different priests, things of that nature, have noticed that the priests that do have that person in their life function a little bit better than the priests that do not have that person in their life.
I actually agree with that.
So, like, for me, if this hot take was more like, you should have one female that you have a properly functioning platonic maybe that's what it is, properly functioning platonic relationship with, that you're able to interact with and not have the sexually charged, like, emotional rhetoric between. It's just like, hey, I'm able to spend time with you and I feel comfortable. You're able to spend time with me. We feel comfortable, but we're doing it in a very structured way. We're not going to put ourselves in positions where like, oh, I'm over at your house at 9 o'clock at night drinking wine. Like, no, that's not going to be the case. But like, hey, yeah, you can come over to the rectory at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with your family. That's fine. You want to come over you want to invite me over for dinner? Cool. That's fine. I mean, like those types of just standard like life things that would be appropriate outside, I think would be fine. It's like the integrated life stuff.
I agree.
And that's where I think that type of hot take would be better than like a relieve yourself holiday.
Which is wild. Yes, because sorry, this is so jarring when you say it that way. Relieve yourself. That's so gross.
Listen, it's the Catholic Noble Research Team that said, like, listen, we are changing the language.
Oh my gosh! But like what we were describing just now, I have a handful of female friends, and they were all at my ordination.
Yeah.
Those people are on record, on film, like they're on my. Yeah, these are the people that I love and care about, right? And some of them are married.
Yeah,
so it is what it is.
Yeah,
and they're healthy people for my life.
And I think that ultimately is the thing. It's like I think to a certain extent, priests should. There is this weird thing that happens in priesthood, and I don't understand why that is. And I think most of it is just to avoid scandal, but like
some of it's to avoid scandal. Sometimes it's to avoid the temptation. Like if an individual feels like they cannot handle it, they just kind of shut out any temptation that can possibly come, which ends up shutting out the opposite sex.
That makes sense, because like for a lot of priests that I've dealt with and I've counseled. Especially even the ones that have struggled with like sexuality and struggled with like, you know, dealing with this part of themselves. They're like, hey, I don't know how to deal with this. Having to go through and develop a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, but understanding like I need to have strong rules in place and learning how to have conversations and learning how to interact in that way was very positive for them. And it turned out to be very good in terms of their overall like development, because then later on, after they've moved on from that person, they found themselves more at peace with their own celibacy, because they're like, oh, okay, this isn't punitive to me anymore. And I think there is some priests, not all priests have to deal with this, obviously. Some priests accept it outright, other priests don't. Yeah. But like there is that punitive nature that I think some people just perceive celibacy to be. And it plays out that way.
I don't know. I go back and forth on this, on what people even perceive celibacy to be, because I have so many different conversations that sometimes are very edifying to me, and sometimes they're very concerning to me.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different idea what celibacy actually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that changes how you see the priest too.
Well, for the most part, I think like it depends on the state of the individual. So like
Yeah.
for the person that you're talking to, if they themselves are content in their life, then celibacy is something that is sacred to the person that is engaging in it. If they are not content in their life, then celibacy is a comma, a brief pause before they then have an opportunity to engage in the thing that they want to engage in with you. And I think that ultimately is dependent on that individual. And that's what makes it difficult, because even if you are very clear, like this is what it is, people are like, yeah, no, I get it. And you're like, I don't think you do.
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 Because you're not behaving any differently. And you're getting more and more upset after I keep telling you, no, I'm not going to engage in that. No, I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
So it's like,
Or why are you being so prudish? Why are you doing this? Like, no. I'm not being prudish. You asked me, a single woman, you asked me to come over to your apartment at 9:30 because you are having a situation that you're not willing to tell me what it is.
right.
That sounds like a trap.
But I mean, like, I wouldn't do that as a married man.
Exactly.
Or I wouldn't even do that as a single guy.
And so why would I do that as a man who is celibate, who's married to the church?
right.
It's the same rule.
Right. And that's the mentality though. If like the difference response from a guy wouldn't be any different
Yeah, it
in that
really
type of
wouldn't.
situation. Like a majority of men would not go over unless you're engaging in something that you're just like, yeah, we agreed to this ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like I'm going over there and I know what we're going to do.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like you walk in there and she's
Marshawn
like,
Lynch, you know why I'm here.
You know why I'm here.
You know why I'm here.
You know why I'm here. Well, we got 2 hot takes. It's stirring off some pretty good discussions, man.
No, I think
pretty
so.
good. Yeah, that's the episode today, man. How you feel? Your chest untied?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Hey, for all of us at Father the Father and Spirit Chain Studios, and the Catholic Notebook family as a whole, hey, thank you so much for listening to us. 5 stars, please. 5 stars. I can't do this. My heart can't do it.
I'll take any stars.
No, 5. No, 5. But remember, we love you. You're very special.
Go forth and bear good fruit.
Hey. That's good.
Welcome to Father, where life and faith meet.
Father to Father is a production of Spirit Stream Studios. All rights reserved.